Here is the content of the cardiovascular system. This is the anatomy of the heart. Everything is listed there, and the arrow indicates the blood movement. And this is the anatomy of blood vessel, and it is labeled. There's first one for blood vessel is arteries, and this is in charge of transport of the blood, of course, and it transports high blood pressure. Because of that, it has a thick wall and narrow lumens, and this is the diagram that shows the lumens and the thick walls, and this is the picture. And the second one here is the veins. Veins transfers the low blood pressure, and because of that, they have the thin walls and wide lumens with valves. It's right here, and this is a picture. Capillaries are and right in the middle right here, and it exchanges the material between blood tissues and contains a single cell thick wall. And this is the diagram that shows a single cell thick wall. The roles are listed here, and the differences are also listed in the chart right here. Wall layers, as I mentioned there, 3 layers for arteries, 3 layers for veins, but 1 layers for capillaries. Wall width is thick for arteries because it's high pressure, thin for veins because it's low pressure, and capillaries is very thin because it's not really needed. The thickness is not really needed. Yep. Pressure is also stated here, and the differences can be seen here. And moving on, before talking about the flow of blood through the heart, the basic mention of William Harvey, who discovered the circulation of the blood, is stated here, and his theory is that the veins' job is to return to the blood, and there's a diagram that's explaining that. An artery is the one that pumps the blood from the heart, and the single connected blood network is included in the both artery and veins, which is pretty similar to this one. And the blood flow of the heart, there's a step on how each blood flow through the different vessels is stated here, and blood flow inside a heart is stated here. So blood flow from arteries is explained here, and first we have to understand the pulses, and pulses are repeated surges by the arteries. Since it is high pressure, the muscle and elastic fibers help to maintain that pressure, and it is all stated here. Capillaries, structures here, veins. Veins especially, it is important to know the skeletal muscle since it helps the movement of the blood. So most important part is here, blood flow inside a heart. So the step 1 is starting from the right articulum, atrium. Everything is labeled here, so you can follow that. Superior vena cava receives the blood right here from the head and upper part of the body, while inferior vena cava, which is right here below in the blue valve, receives the blood from the lower body. So at the same time, and blood move into right ventricle through the tricuspid valve, which is valve here, and blood exits the pulmonary valve and goes to pulmonary artery. and blood exits through the right and blood exits through the pulmonary valve and goes to the pulmonary artery, and blood exits to the right and left pulmonary artery, which moves into lungs. And inside the lung, gas exchange causes the blood to discard carbon dioxide and gain oxygen. Blood comes back to the pulmonary vein and enters the left atrium, and the blood is pumped into left ventricle and leaves the aorta, which is the big one right here, using the aortic semilunar valve. And this big aorta distributes the oxygen throughout the body. So this one is the last bit, control of the heartbeat. Control of the heartbeat. Heart contraction is actually myogenic because cardiac compression is arriving within the heart. Tissue is not controlled by the brain signals. So this is the diagram that shows it. So basically the first structure is structure that starts the electric pulses and create a contraction, and it is called sinoatrial node, and it is also known as a primary pacemaker. It goes around 60 to 100 bpm, and there's also secondary pacemaker, also known as a AV node, comes when the first one falls, and it is 40 to 60. When everything fails, the tertiary pacemaker activates, and it is much lower, 30 to 40. So the steps of electrical conduction of a heartbeat is stated here. So the first node sends this electrical signal impulse to stimulate the contraction of the heart muscle tissue right here, and atria contracts and stimulates another nodes at the atrium and ventricle. After that, second node sends the signals to the nerve and bundle, causes the ventricular contraction. This process is delayed, extremely delayed, to allow the blood to fill in and fill out. So it fills in here and pumps, exits, fills in, and repeat.